So I've joked with you guys many times and said that I live in the buckle of the Bible Belt. It is blood red where I'm sitting. It's so blood red where I'm sitting that I know every progressive and liberal in this town on a first name basis. There's so few of us that we found each other and we know who each other are, and we try to talk ourselves through it. We're in a blood red part of the world. And for years, I traveled around this part of the world playing music, and I played country, honky-tonk country music in dive bars in this part of the world. And I was up there singing Waylon Jennings and Merle Haggard covers to redneck audiences. And I wasn't on the bullhorn. I wasn't talking politics because I wasn't hired to. That's not why I was there. I was there to play music and have a good time, and that's what I did for many years, and I enjoyed it. I wouldn't take it back, wouldn't trade it for nothing. But before, when I would go to the store, run down to the dollar store, I would have people bump into me and go, "Hey, Brando, when are you playing next?" "I'll be back over at the bar this week." "Okay, cool, I'll come check you out." That was my life for 25 years. Then I sat down one day in this chair and started saying how I really felt about things. And when I did, suddenly those same people aren't asking me what I'm going to be doing next. They're literally like kind of walking past me and pretending like they don't see me in the dollar store. Some still hollers, "Hey, Brando, how are you? Are you ever going to play again?" I think they're dying for me to just go back to that. But I'm at the point now, folks, where you don't put the toothpaste back in the tube, okay? We're here and we're here to stay. But occasionally what I do is I get out and I just drive the back roads in this part of the world. That's my way of winding down when I get done making a video, and I promise I'm going somewhere with this. But that's how I wind down. I just hit the back roads, I turn on some music, I crank up some drive-by truckers really loud, or some Ray Wiley Hubbard, Lucinda Williams, Steve Earle. Those are my jams. I just crank it up and drive these back roads, and I'll stop into thrift stores, and I'll stop into little roadside dives and little diners on the side of the road, and I'll sit down and eat a hamburger and compare it to the one in the town before. And along the way, I bump into some really nice people. I truly do. And I don't think I talk about that enough. Here on the channel, I'm always talking about the stupidity of MAGA. And I'm talking about the over-the-top, just the Trumper out at the rally that's just saying all the crazy stuff to the good liars and the Adam Mocklers of the world. It's like you see Adam out there holding the microphone up in front of these people's face, and they're just spouting all these conspiracy theories. And I react to stuff like that. But I haven't really spent enough time talking about how nice people are in my part of the world if you sit down and talk to them about anything other than politics. When I get out and just drive the back roads and stop into some little diner on the side of the road and have a cheeseburger, I bump into really nice people. And I'm in blood red Trump country. There's Trump flags everywhere I look. As long as I'm talking to them about the cheeseburger or about music or about a football game, we can sit there and have a good conversation. If we steer off into politics, though, suddenly we're enemies. And I've noticed that. And recently, I was just in blood red Kentucky. And it was so beautiful where I was. Some of the beautifulest mountains. I was like, damn. I mean, this is truly a beautiful place right here. And the people that I met along the way were nice as could be. But there was Trump flags everywhere. And when I go out in public these days, if I want someone to notice who I am, I'll wear the bandana. If I don't, if I want to be left alone, I go without it. It's kind of like a Clark Kent Superman kind of thing. Or if I don't have it on, I don't get noticed as much. So I can kind of move in and out. And so I was at this place hanging out. And I was surrounded by super nice people. And we weren't arguing. We weren't talking politics. It was just a really nice day. And I said to myself, what would I do if suddenly all these people were to bust me out? Like, what if someone's like, "Wait a minute, hold on a second now, boy. You're at Tennessee Brando. You're that liberal. I've been trolling on the internet. I can't believe you're saying that bullshit. Why you think like that, boy? What you got to say to us now?" And I'll tell you what I would say to them. I would say, you know what? You're some of the nicest people I've ever met. You truly are. You welcome me into your restaurant. You welcome me into your little roadside dive. You gave me a good deal at the thrift store. You threw in something extra at the pawn shop for me. You're super nice. You're some of the nicest people I've ever met. But you're falling for one of the biggest grifters and one of the most cold-hearted bastards that I've ever seen. And I can't understand how those two things go hand in hand. I would say to them, you're truly nice people. And I'm sure you're good neighbors. I'm sure you help your neighbor out. I'm sure you're, good to the people at work. You're good to the people you go to church with. You're probably a decent person to live next door to. But you support someone who is against anyone else living their life in peace and harmony just like you are. And what I would say is you're back here in these beautiful mountains of southeast Kentucky and East Tennessee, way back in these hollers where the only thing you do is drive your car just a few feet down the road to a Dollar General and a few feet back up this way to the church, and that's as far as you go. And yet you're scared and you're worried about immigrants poisoning the blood and transgenders in sports and just all of the boogeymen that MAGA has put in front of you. And my question to you would be, besides your TV and besides your cell phone and besides your truck radio on the way back and forth to work, where is all this madness happening? Where is all this dark stuff that Donald Trump is talking about? Where is it happening besides on your TV when he's saying it? Where else is it happening? Because everywhere I go, it's just peaceful. I mean, people's getting along. All these boogeymen you say are coming aren't coming. None of the things you're afraid is going to walk down your streets is walking down your streets. You're just living your life over here in one of the most beautiful parts of the world, and you're living it the way that you see fit, and you don't want anyone treading on you. So just imagine if suddenly someone really was treading on you. And suddenly you went down to the courthouse to get a marriage license and you couldn't have one because someone somewhere else disagreed with you. Someone who had it made. Someone who was living in one of the most beautiful places in the world just said, nope, not you, because I disagree with it. How would that make you feel? How would you honestly feel if suddenly rights got took away from you? What if you went to your doctor, guys, dudes? What if you went to your doctor, sat down and went, yeah, I think I want to have a vasectomy, or I think I want to do something different. I think I need a little Viagra. I've been having trouble with the missus here lately. And they said, no, no, because somebody else somewhere, somebody that was way back in the hills somewhere went out and voted and said that you couldn't do that. How mad would you get? What kind of hell would you raise? You're not being treaded on. You're the popular person in the smallest little part of the world. You're in the majority where you're at. No one's coming after you. Your way of life isn't being threatened. You're living your way of life. And you think that somehow everything Donald Trump says is somehow going to make it to your front doorstep, and it's not. It's not coming there. It's just his way of duping you into voting against your own interest, so you will keep chasing that carrot, and you will keep moving forward thinking, one day I'll get there, and he's playing you. And he's nothing like you, because I know that, because you're nice to me. You treat me good. You help me. You've helped me out many times, and I've witnessed you do it. But I've also witnessed you turn around and fly a flag of one of the cruelest dudes ever off your boat. I've watched you turn around and share some of his cruelest statements to other people. And I say to myself, how can those two people coexist? How can that nice, down-to-earth country bumpkin, and I mean that in a positive way, how can this really nice, sweet country bumpkin dude support such a cold-hearted cynic when he wouldn't treat me that way until he found out how I believed, and then he would probably change his tune? But what I'm trying to say here, folks, is that we focus a whole lot on the assholes at the Trump rally because they're so over the top. But the people I'm around, people say, man, what's it like living there? Well, if I start talking politics, I'm going to disagree with 9 out of 10 people. But if I'm just sitting in a diner somewhere trying the newest cheeseburger or trying out these new loaded fries they got, we're fine. We're getting along. And I don't see immigrants busting through the door unless they're just bringing you your plate of food and setting it down in front of you. I just got done eating a while ago around in a blood red town with a guy walked in with Trump shorts on. He sat down and a Mexican handed him his food. He wasn't coming across the border to steal you a job because last time I checked, you hadn't applied for a job there. So I think it's high time that we all just stop and pause and say, wait a minute now. We've all got worked up over things, and we're afraid of things. We're scared of things that's never going to come our way. We're fearful of things that's never going to happen in our part of the world. And before anyone jumps in to say, yeah, but they're going to change our little part of the world. No, they're not. They don't want your part of the world. They don't want to be where you're at. They just want to be where they're at and live their life the way you are. When you go back and forth to church every Sunday, back and forth to work, and you're shouting, don't tread on me, they're not. The only place you're seeing it is coming out of Donald Trump's mouth. The only place you're hearing it is coming out of his mouth. That's it. That's where the treading is happening. That's where they are. The boogeyman is coming out of his mouth. Nobody is trying to get you. And that's the part I wish I could get through to more people. So maybe one day, if I'm sitting on a bar stool somewhere just, having a new homebrew, or if I'm sitting in some diner somewhere and I'm trying the steak out to see how it is, and somebody says, hey, you're Tennessee Brando. Why do you think the way you do? Maybe I'll just sit and have this conversation one-on-one and hope something about it sticks. Because if I'm being brutally honest with you, the thing that turned me off about the Republican Party when I was a kid, and I'm lucky I had an uncle named Brad who pointed to me and said, hey, these people are playing you. I take great offense at the fact that they took everything good about my part of the world and used it to dumb people down, and used it to bring out the worst in people, and used it to give us all a black eye and make us all look like white trash. It deeply offends me that Donald Trump made my part of the world look like white trash, to the point that people have to scroll by my videos 10 times before they'll click on it, and they'll finally go, oh, sorry. Sorry, we thought you was going to be a prick there. With all those tattoos and that bandana and that southern accent. Thought you was going to be a jerk there for a minute. Listen, I understand you feel that way. I'm not mad at you for feeling that way. You have every right to feel that way. I'm more aggravated at the Trumpers and the MAGA world that gave the rest of us such a bad name. Because here's the thing. Not all of them are that cruel. They're just misled, and it's sad. And I hope one day when this whole thing implodes around them, I just hope Trump is like the Vanilla Ice tape. I hope he's something that none of them will admit they ever owned.